What's going on, guys? Hey, listen, today we are going to be comparing two fragrances. The episode is on one particular fragrance, but I know you guys are going to have questions and want comparison videos to see if it's worth purchasing. Strap up, let's go for a ride. Welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the afternoon. Hey, quick question. Do you guys like this fragrance? 90% of you do. The other 10% of you complain that it's too lemony. Even though I get pineapple, I do not get lemon. I think people who don't like this just don't like pineapple. It's very forward in pineapple and birch, but a lot of people say that it comes off lemony. Well, not a lot of people, just 10%. 90% of people in most of the community, by and large, this is almost the number one purchase clone out there. Armaf's Club D Nuit Intense Man. Newest formulation. You know, I probably picked this up about 2 years ago, so it's not the OG great formulation. Who the heck cares? Smells good to me. This was one of the first fragrances I ever got in the clone world, and I fell absolutely in love with it. At first, I kind of smelled it. You know, being in Arizona, I knew nothing about maceration. And I could smell it through the box, and I was like, whoa, this is real pungent. And I sprayed it at first, and I was like, ooh, this is a little bit harsh. This is a little bit intense. This is out of my wheelhouse. And, I took it out and about. After a couple use cases, by about wear number 3, this really started to aerate and settle really nicely. This is where I first kind of learned about maceration being a thing. It definitely got smoother the more that I've sprayed this over the year or two that I've owned it. One of my first original clones, one of the most popular of all time. This was pretty much my introduction into clone fragrances, and this was an absolute hit to me. I still love it to this day. That smoky, pineapple, birchy. If you guys want to call it lemon, sure, but I don't smell lemon at all. I mostly smell pineapple and birch. But this is just a man's man fragrance. Forward, beast mode, scent trails, sillage, longevity, everything you want in a fragrance for 20, 25 bucks. You just cannot go wrong with this fragrance as a 25 and up male. I think for the younger crowd, it is a bit overboard, and I can completely understand why. But why are we 3 minutes in on a fragrance I'm not talking about today very much? The fragrance we're talking about today is Armaf's Club D Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition, I think, Parfum. Let me check. Yeah, Limited Edition Parfum. I think what we're comparing it to is perhaps an eau de toilette. I don't even really care if it's an eau de toilette. It's a beast mode fragrance, so it means nothing to know that it's an EDT or not. But this is the fragrance that we're talking about. Limited Edition Parfum, which is arguably what a lot of people claim is the better Club D Nuit Intense Man. They say if you do like it, get the limited edition. It's better. Now, there are debates as to which is the better Creed Aventus clone. For those of you who are under a rock and don't know that this fragrance is cloning Creeds Aventus, there are a lot of conversations about what is the best Creed Aventus clone. L'Aventure, I forgot who's the maker of that. L'Aventure fragrance. Let me check. And I'm going to name all these because this is the information that you guys probably want to know if you're a newbie in this. The two biggest hitters outside of this fragrance right here is Al Harmain's L'Aventure, right? As well as Offnon's Not Only Intense for men. And I am told that those two are smoother, less lemony. I am told that L'Aventure is the closest rendition to Creeds Aventus. L'Aventure is the most accurate out of the three. Off-Non Not Only Intense Man is very accurate, but has a little bit of nuance to it, but is still more accurate than this. And this is kind of just the Beast Mode Power Punch version of all those that's a lot more forward with a little more spunk. They're all three great fragrances, guys. You can't lose getting either of the three, in my opinion. And honestly, I like CDN. You just can't go wrong with it. I really like it. I think if you like pineapple, you're more than fine with birch and pineapple being so forward, even in a harsh way. I think the fragrance settles really nice, and it's just an incredible fragrance. But again, I digress. This is Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition Parfum, the one that they say if you're going to get Club de Nuit, you want the limited edition. Comments on this is that the pineapple is somewhat more subdued. It's less lemony. It's richer. It's smokier. So we're going to compare the two. I'm going to spray both of them. The limited edition Parfum as well as just CDN newer batch. Let's see what we're working with here. I almost feel right off the bat like limited edition Parfum is a richer pineapple. I feel a little bit spicier, maybe smokier is the right word, more peppery, I guess, but in a very smooth way. I feel like the pineapple is less harsh. It's more juicy, wine reduction-y pineapple here. The birch is tucked a little bit more. It just feels like this formulation is a little bit juicier and less harsh with a touch of more spice. And the wood is a little bit subdued. And for that, the formulation comes across a little bit more mature. But I think that that's only detectable in a comparison. I think if I was blind and I never smelled limited edition Parfum and I only went to the EDT or this Club de Nuit Intense Man, it might be EDP, EDT, who cares? I think you still get complexity, you still get juiciness, you still get woodiness. Not as peppery, but the vibe is so close. Like the difference in subtlety here is about 10%. I don't think you lose by getting either fragrance. If you are being the most pickiest, spoiled little brat, I would say the Parfum's a little bit juicier and less woody and a little bit smokier and smells slightly more complex. But if it costs more to me, I would just default to this. So I think limited edition and this are so close that really it just comes down to, do you want your pineapple more beast mode? Go with this. If you want it a little richer and darker and smokier with a little less wood, go limited edition. We're really threading hairs here, guys. This episode is supposed to be about the limited edition Parfum. So let me provide you guys with a little bit of information. This is the original. Quite a bit of information here, but in a nutshell, if you've never smelled this before, you mostly get this lemony pineapple birch. That is the predominance of the fragrant. You do get a little bit of black currant. You do get a little freshness of floral, not specifically jasmine or rose. And in the base, I guess it's a bit musky. The ambergris and patchouli and all that work together. No vanilla, really, in my humble opinion. But that's CDN Intense Man. Limited edition, the fragrance that we're talking about today, adds a couple of notes. We have lime and pepper and pink pepper up top. So these are very subdued. It's not super spicy at all. This is a very subdued, juicier, richer pineapple, a little bit less lemony. I don't really get the lime, to be honest. Maybe it's just contributing to the richness and the juiciness of the pineapple. The pepper, the black pepper, pink pepper, get that a little bit. All the extra floral work they did in the heart, I don't really get that as much either. Is it birch? They replaced the birch with cedar. Okay, so that makes sense why the woods are a little bit lighter. I think birch is a little bit more forward. and they're subduing kind of with this cedar leather combination in the base to kind of knock down the woodiness of it. But it still has some complexity in the juiciness of the pineapple, but still it's pineapple and woods, predominantly, like by about 80% in both fragrances. So, let me answer some quick, information for you guys. Limited Edition Parfum is slightly better than CDN Intense Man. Not by a long shot. Do I think it's worth paying more for? No. If I had to choose between the two and they were both the same price, I would probably go with the Limited Edition Parfum. But man, I'm threading hairs here. I use this all the freaking time, guys. I'm a business guy. I'm dressed down. I go to work. I'm an office man. I'm out in the field talking with clients and stuff, and they eat this up for lunch. It's so funny. I was watching a kid talk about fragrance yesterday, and he was just talking about how when you try fragrances that are more expensive and of the finer things that are in the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, up to a band cost for fragrance, there's different levels to this fragrance game. And even though they're right, that reality that he's referring to is a reality that very few people, it's a reality too. I think it's important to realize that 75% of the world does not even wear fragrance. And of the 25% of the world that wears fragrance, ask yourself, how many people do you smell on a daily basis that wear fragrance? Because I know if I'm counting, I might smell maybe a couple of people a week that have some sort of fragrant aroma to them. So not that many people are out here wearing fragrance. Most people are soaping up, shower gelling up, and calling it a day. Most people aren't in the fragrance game, let alone the connoisseur, upscale, high ticket fragrance lane. Which is why when you go to any of these guys' channels who have big boy fragrances, they always have to talk about the clones and the cheaper fragrances. That's what pays the bills, because they have to speak to a reality that most people can understand and are familiar with. Most people aren't even familiar with the bare bones, entry level, affordable, name brand fragrance game. And everybody's just now getting hip to the clone game. So, to people who talk about, why do I bring that up, guys? I'm just trying to make some length out of an episode. But more importantly, sometimes I get these rants and I think you guys appreciate me for them. When we talk about a fragrance like this, obviously it's not Creed Aventus, but the only person that's ever going to know that is you and all of the fragrance snobs in the community and the cool people in the fragrance community that are connoisseurs who actually care. People that are smelling you every single day, including your family and friends, aren't going to know this is a clone. They're not going to even hear the word dupe in their entire lives. They are going to smell Club D Nuit Intense Man. And they're not going to have a problem with you saying that. You don't even have to lie these days and say it's Creed Aventus, because 90% of people haven't even heard the phrase Creed Aventus. Never even knew about Creed fragrances. Never even heard the phrase Baccarat Rouge 540. We think these terms are so common to the public, and they're not. Okay? I'm a 35-year-old man, pushing 36 soon, and I can tell you that when you talk about Baccarat Rouge and Creed and Louis Vuitton and all this stuff, Givenchy, no one's saying these words in the community that I exist in. I exist in high-ticket business and sales, formal, going out. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I don't do is I don't go to the club. You know what I'm saying? And even in that regard, you go to the club, everybody's wearing Sephora fragrances. You know what I'm saying? No one's rocking Bodicius. You know what I mean? So anyway, I say that because when we talk about a fragrance like this, this can be your signature fragrance, guys. Good old Club D Nuit Intense Man from Armaf, and you can say it with your chest out. Because, clone or not, it is a phenomenal fragrance. It's cloning a phenomenal fragrance, therefore it is a phenomenal fragrance. They did some serious work to it. Clone or not, this fragrance is a conversation starter, it's a vibe creator, and it's a mood changer. And you're very valid in wearing this. So anybody that would take a crap on a fragrance like this, I think gets put in check really quick when you see how much this fragrance outsells name brand fragrances, how much it continues to be relevant, how much it continues to eke its way into people's recycled content on YouTube, and so on and so on and so forth. So that's why it's relevant to do a video like this, because for 20, 25 bucks, you can absolutely step up your fragrance game to where you're smelling in people's minds like wealth, richness, complexity, sophistication. And you'll only have to spend 20, 25 bucks. And the only people that are going to care that you didn't spend more are people who represent a tiny little pepper speck of the entire fragrance community, because they're minorities and they're not lesser than you. It's just those aren't the people who you are wearing this for. So you can feel completely confident wearing your $25 fragrance, but smelling very expensive. So in a nutshell, quick information for you guys, and then we're going to sign off. Limited Edition Parfum. I already told you guys the differences between it and the EDT or the EDP. I think we're just going to call it Any Season, Any Reason. Shines in warmer weather, but I think it's an Any Season, Any Reason fragrance. It sits slightly above casual, so semi-formal and up. I don't think this is a casual fragrance at all. It's very upscale. It's very rich. It's very manly. So yeah, semi-formal and up on the occasion. It is a beast mode fragrance. 8 to 10 sprays is going to annihilate and remain on your clothes for 2 days minimum. So I would say a safe bet is about 4 to 6 sprays, and it's going to carry you the entire day, no question. At least 8 hours plus. It stays on skin. Certain environments where you would wear this, anything business, anything suit and tie, anything semi-formal. You can dress it up to be romantic if you're taking your girl out to an expensive restaurant. If you're running errands and you're dressed really nicely, not necessarily suit and tie, but you know, you're groomed, you've got maybe a collared shirt on, or you've got like a Nike Tech on or something. You just look like you take care of yourself. It can work all around. I just think it's a wonderful fragrance. I think I've covered everything. If I left anything out due to my rant, just let me know in the comments. Guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm always going to keep it real with you about fragrance. You know, sometimes I catch myself thinking a little extra about the fact that, you know, I'm participating in the fragrance community very late. I'm a newbie in the game, but I own like 200 fragrances, so of course I can talk about it. Everything I talk about, I wear. I created this channel to talk about my personal fragrance journey, not to come off like I know everything about fragrance, not to be the lord of fragrance, not to act like my opinions are the law of the land, but simply to share my story of fragrance and to inspire a world that knows nothing about this community that, hey, here's these little bottles of opportunity that can change your life. It could change your mood, change your environment, contribute to good conversation and good quality of living. And you can do it for a fraction of the cost now. There's so much variety for anybody on any budget. It's an absolute gem to be a part of. And yeah, some people like myself go a little crazy and get 150 to 200 fragrances, but it's because we have a passion for sharing that information for you guys so that your 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or 20 fragrances are absolute masterpieces, absolute gems, things that you can be absolutely confident in your typical use case. So with that being said, this is the Scent Bubble. I hope you guys have a blessed week. Interact with me in the comments. You know I'll bounce back with some ideas and some commentary, but y'all have a wonderful rest of your week. Until next time, peace.